What's good, everybody? It's your boy OG Guac 420 back at it with another episode of Collect or Disconnect, the very first episode of 2024. And of course, as you can tell by the title, this is my top 23 of 2023. I don't know why I'm doing so many figures. This list has been stressing me out all week. I picked up so many good figures this year, probably over like 40 figures in total from like 5 or 6 different companies. It was really hard to narrow all those figures down to just 10 of them, so I went ahead and doubled the list and added 3 honorable mentions. So yeah, this is going to be a super long video, probably over 30 minutes long. Alright, so real quick before we start, let me go ahead and explain how I made this list, how I came up with 23 figures. First and foremost, the top 10 that's going to be at the end is going to be my definitive rank from 10 to 1. And the other 13 are going to be on a different criteria kinda. So the first one's going to be my top 5 Marvel Legends and my top 5 McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, just because those two are my main lines I do collect. And any like Legends or McFarlane figures that aren't on those two lists are going to be on my top 10 list. So I just went ahead and made 2 separate top 5s right there, implemented into this top 23. So after those 10 figures, we are going to have 3 honorable mentions from 3 separate companies, and those 3 figures could have made it to my top 10, but just the amount of fire I have in my top 10, it just wouldn't allow these 3 figures to go on there. So those are going to be 13, 12, and 11. At one point, those 3 honorable mention figures were actually in my top 10 list that I have right here that I've been going over for this past week, and I just found 3 of the figures that actually replaced them. So alright, so hopefully that wasn't too confusing. It kind of sounds like I have a bunch of gibberish on this paper right here, so hopefully at the end of this video it works out and you guys get to see my top 23 figures of 2023. Alright, so for the very first time of 2024, let's not waste any more time, and without further ado, let's get it cracking.
Oh shit!
Alright, so right now we'll be showing you guys my top 5 Marvel Legends and my top 5 McFarlane DC Multiverse. Like I said earlier, those are my top 2 companies that I do collect. I will be going through those pretty fast, just because they are amazing figures, but I want to spend the bulk of my time highlighting the top 10 of this list. So first and foremost, we have a big chunky boy right here. This is of course Joe Fixit. Great Hulk right here. Don't really know too much about the character, but I do know he has an amazing Tommy gun right there. Big reason why I picked him up. I did have that Build-A-Figure Joe Fixit from the Gamerverse wave that came out a couple years ago, I think, and this is basically just a straight up reuse, but with a new head, a couple new head sculpts, and this amazing Tommy gun. So I went ahead and sold that bad boy and picked this one up right here. So yeah, here is Joe Fixit sitting comfortably at the bottom of the list at number 23. Alright, so flying in at number 22, we do have this amazing Hawkeye right here with a Sky Cycle. This Sky Cycle alone is the reason why I purchased him. I did have the All-Father wave, I believe is what it's called. Hawkeye with like the metal arm, but this guy blows him out of the water. I did sell that guy in anticipation for this amazing figure right here, and he does certainly have a pretty cool shelf space with this big ass Sky Cycle. And a reason he's not on the top 10 list is because his stand actually sucks a lot. He's sucking the tumble from the top of this shelf all the way to the bottom multiple times, so he's probably loose by now how many times he's fallen off my shelf. Alright, so here we have Hawkeye and his amazing Sky Cycle coming in at number 22. Alright, so for my 21st spot, we do have what I believe is the last Marvel Legend I picked up of 2023, if I'm not mistaken. This is of course Blade, my first ever Marvel Legends Blade right here. I did pick up that Select Blade as well a couple months ago this year, but he is still in the box. Reason being is because I bought him not thinking that Marvel Legends was going to release their own. This guy's pretty cool. I've heard a lot of complaints and gripes about his arms not being able to articulate or even go down. Having him on the shelf finally is enough for me. I do have him pose up with this mindless one effect that's supposed to go into his eye. I think it looks pretty cool with that, and his background kind of gives me some Wesley Snipes Blade vibes right there. Yeah, not much to say about this guy. Just super stoked to actually have a Blade in my collection finally, fighting off some vampires. I'll probably have him pose up fighting off the DC Multiverse vampires and whatnot. But yeah, here we have number 21. That is Blade. Alright, so next up, coming in at the 20th spot, we do have the Iron Man Extremis armor. Extremis or Extremis, I don't know which one it is. Pretty sure it's Extremis, but this guy is pretty freaking sweet. Hopefully I am giving you guys like a view right here of like the figure up close. For sure one of my top Iron Mans in my collection now, other than the the modular Iron Man, that guy's just perfect in my opinion. But this guy could for sure use some panel lining. I've seen a couple of those custom paint jobs with it, but other than that, he's still a pretty solid figure. The articulation is actually pretty cool, you know, for Iron Man and whatnot. There was that Midnight Suns black and gold armor that came out last year as well that I was supposed to pick up but never did. So yeah, once again, here we have the Extremis armor Iron Man coming in number 20. Alrighty, so for my 19th pick of my list, we do have this amazing Magneto that came out for the X-Men 97 wave. This guy is super freaking cool. He's just screaming for a freaking flight stand and some cool effects. I will be looking into actually customizing some cool like particle levitation effects right here, sort of like what Can of Beams does. Hopefully I put a picture up right here of it. But man, this guy is super cool. This is the second Magneto I've ever had in my collection. The other one was the Age of Apocalypse one, I believe, with the ponytails. And I was like super close to actually snipping those ponytails off and trying to get like a more classic looking Magneto. But pretty glad I waited for this bad boy. The only gripes I've been seeing about him online is he is kind of short compared to other Magnetos and other characters. But for me, he is going to be on a flight stand permanently in my X-Men collection once I get around to doing that. But yeah, I mean, super hyped for the actual X-Men 97 show. I still haven't finished watching my rewatch of the actual animated show, so pretty hyped to see what they do with Magneto as a character. I know he is going to be the leader of the X-Men now in that show, so yeah, like I said, pretty hyped. And this guy is the last of my top 5 Marvel Legends that didn't make it into my top 10. So here we go one more time. Coming in number 19, Magnus. Or yeah, right, Magnus, Magneto. Alright, so next up we are doing my top 5 DC Multiverse McFarlane figures. I'm just double checking my handy dandy list right here. Alright, so for my 18th pick in the 2023 draft, we have this amazing Hawkman right here. I believe he is from the Infinite Hour or Infinite something comic line right here. Don't really know too much about the character. I mean, I love how he looks, but I was kind of hoping to get that platinum version with the more classic looking colors. But I did see Bones do an amazing custom, fixing the wings, the hair, the arms, the hands. Because right here you can see he has like a tiny ass like little baby hand on his left hand for some reason. So I will for sure be doing some customs of it. But as is, it is a pretty fantastic figure right here. I will be adding those Batman Who Laughs Sky Tyrant, I think is what it's called, wings, because they're actually articulated. These are still pretty cool, but I think once I put those on, the scene's gonna be way better. But yeah, here we have once again Hawkeye coming in at number 18, looking pretty fly. We have Catman himself. This was at the time one of my favorite McFarlane figures when it first released. Just having a figure like this on this Nightfall body was super sweet. The accessories, the face sculpt, I think it was $30. It was a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, but other than the price, I highly recommend this guy. I have him posed up with the, I think like Nightfall Catwoman still. From my last video I did about those two. If you haven't watched it, check it out. One of my favorite photo montages I've ever done on an action figure. But yeah, once again, here we have Catman in all his cat glory and his cool little fabric cape coming in number 17. Right, and for my 16th pick of the top 2023 draft, we have the Platinum Mr. Freeze right here, looking pretty spiffy, looking pretty frozen in his packaging right there, and his helmet looks pretty cool. Like I said, this is a platinum version. I got this randomly through GameStop. I actually didn't really prefer it at first when I saw the listing about it. I kind of didn't want the original release, but once I actually unboxed this bad boy and I put him on the shelf, his colors really do pop. And I honestly, yeah, do prefer this platinum now. I know he's selling for pretty big bucks, so pretty glad to have him in my collection. But one little thing about this figure, I don't know if you guys noticed, well, if you guys have this figure, but he's supposed to have like an actual blast effect coming out with some like blue ice. I don't know why I thought that was removable, because I twisted it and I thought it was like a corkscrew or something like that. I twisted like twice and it just completely came off, so that's pretty cool. I will be customizing this guy a little bit for sure. I'm thinking about actually making this gun more silver and maybe adding my own ice effect on that as well, because I didn't really like the one that was on the stock figure. But other than that gun thing, this guy is still pretty cool. No pun intended, no ice jokes over here. You can remove his helmet, which reveals a pretty amazing looking head sculpt. I think on the original release he actually has like a gray skin tone. This guy actually has a normal skin tone, so I kind of actually prefer that too. So yeah, here we have it one more time, the amazing, the ice cold Platinum Mr. Freeze coming in at number 16. Alright, so for my 14th and my 15th spot on my list, I'm gonna do both of these guys together because they are, you know, the most infamous duo in my collection. We have Bat Bale right here, Christian Bale, and we have Heath Ledger Joker. Honestly, I thought these guys came out like 2 years ago at this point, but it's kind of crazy that these did come out 2023. I remember being so hyped when they came out. I bought doubles of the entire wave just so I can keep them mint in box. I did not pick up that interrogation room Joker just because it's a little too expensive, but honestly I kind of regret it now because that thing is super cool. Just recreating that scene where Batman's behind him, you know, he slams his fucking face on the fucking table. Yeah, pretty sick ass scene, but for right now these guys look amazing on my shelf. Christian Bale is my favorite Batman of all time. You can see I have like the actual tattoo right here. Die hard Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale Batman fan right there. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this Heath Ledger is also my favorite live action Joker for sure, other than, you know, Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill respectively playing both of these roles animated wise. Alright, so here we have it one more time. Two of my favorite action figures in my collection from an amazing trilogy, probably the best superhero trilogy of all time, and the best Batman and best Joker, coming in at number 14 and number 15. Alright, so right now we're going to be doing some real quick honorable mentions. These three figures, like I said earlier, were on my top 10 at one point. Well, two of them were. One of them I just opened up a couple days ago, and I knew he had to be on this list, but not as high just because he's still super new, and he kind of doesn't really count. He came out on January 2nd. I think he was coming out before that, so I'm still going to consider him 2023. But right now we do have my first ever G.I. Joe action figure in my collection. I believe this guy's called the Alley Viper or the Range Viper, one of those two. I'm not a fan of G.I. Joe at all. I never watched the cartoons. The figures are pretty cool. I just don't really do military style figures in my collection, but this guy looks like an actual like superhero villain. He has a badass skull face with his brains kind of showing. He has a ton of accessories, and I mean, if this is how all G.I. Joes are, maybe I'm missing out, but I did pick up another one of these as well to have like a little duo situation going on. And I'm thinking about making a video about this guy as well, just showing you guys my first reaction to having a G.I. Joe classified figure in my collection. Alright, so here we have it one more time. Coming in at number 13 has a really cool honorable mention. This is the G.I. Joe Range Viper. I'm thinking is it Range Viper or the Alley Viper. I know there's two different figures, so like I said, I'm not into G.I. Joe, so you can go ahead and flame me in the comments if I got this guy's name wrong. Alright, and coming in at number 12, we do have one of my favorite companies to collect, and that is Marvel Select. I love their freaking giant figures. I knew I was going to pass up on that Marvel Legends Apocalypse just because this guy is way more cooler, way more beefier, way more taller. He has some amazing accessories, as you can see right here, and his articulation isn't the best, but honestly I just need this guy to be an intimidating villain in my X-Men shelf. So this guy fits the bill right here. He looks pretty amazing. I know this guy's in some other people's top 10, so like I said, he was a pretty cool honorable mention. But for $30, Marvel Select is definitely putting out some amazing figures. The sculpt and paint do outweigh the lack of articulation, especially on this figure. Like I said, I just need him to be a cool looking figure in the back, about to beat some ass. So here we have it one more time, number 12, the Diamond Select Marvel Select Apocalypse. Alright, so for my last honorable mention, we do have the recently released Star Wars Black Series Star Killer. Man, I've been waiting so many freaking years for this fucking figure. This game, well, these two games were actually what got me into Star Wars to begin with when I was a kid. I had both these games for the Wii, I believe it was, so just being able to use my freaking nunchuck and like use the other remote to like do force lightning and force pushing was like the greatest thing ever at the time. So to finally have him in my collection with my other Star Wars figures honestly completes the collection. Without his character right here, I would not be the Star Wars fan I am today, and I hope this guy makes a big leap to the big screen or even like a Disney Plus show. I would kill to see I think his name is like Sam Witwer, the actor's name. But I mean, like, literally, he still looks like this. He hasn't aged a day, so he could for sure still play a live action Star Killer. And real quick, I just want to show you guys this amazing freaking Mandalorian I picked up today from GameStop. This is the Gravin Ringworld Book of Boba Fett Mandalorian right here. This suit is freaking sweet. I didn't really pick up too many Star Wars Black Series figures this year, but if this guy came out last year, he would have for sure been on this list. But I can guarantee you he will be on the top 2024 list next year. Man, it would be so sick to see both these guys on the screen together. Alright guys, so it's been a whole 8 days from the last part of that video. I have been sick for the past 5 days, and it didn't help that it's like 12 degrees right now in Texas. We had snow and ice for a couple days as well, so I'm finally back at it. Feeling better right now, of course. You can still probably hear it in my nose and my voice, but I'm feeling about 90%. So let's go ahead and finish this long ass video and get to my top 10 action figures of 2023. Alright, so coming in at my number 10 spot, we do have another Diamond Select Marvel Select action figure, and this right here is a big bad Beta Ray Bill. And like I said earlier with that Apocalypse figure, Select is not known for having the best articulation, so this guy does have single joints on all his joints, and he doesn't really have too much head articulation because of his giant mohawk right here. He's still pretty cool. My first ever Beta Ray Bill in my collection, so glad it is a Select. It was only $30, and maybe if Marvel Legends releases another one, I might pick it up. I'm not really a big fan of this giant mohawk. Maybe if it was like cut off a little bit on the back tip, but for right now he is super sick. He has his iconic hammer right here, and he also comes with this giant freaking spinning hammer, which is kind of a pain to pose him with because the handle is so tiny, and he does become like top heavy, so he will fall over. But other than those couple gripes, this guy still is a solid figure, and he deserves to be on my top 10 of 2023. Alright, so following Beta Ray Bill, we do have another chunky figure. I think this is my last one more chunky figure actually in my top 10, but this is of course the Marvel Legends Destroyer that came with that 2-pack with that Thor that I have posed up there in my Avengers collection. This guy is a beast of a figure, super heavy. I think that Marvel Select also did their own Destroyer as well, but this guy definitely takes a cake, and it does help that I picked him up for about $35 I think on clearance at Target for this and that Thor. So pretty amazing pickup, pretty amazing figure. He does come with some alternate fists. The only thing that I could possibly want more out of this figure is probably better articulation, but like a blast effect coming from his face, the iconic scene from Thor when he blasts Thor out of the freaking world. But yeah, man, this guy is sick. He has some sick ass paint. I'm a sucker for these bigger figures for sure. Bigger is better, that's what she said. I do have him posed up with my Hydra Stomper and my Mark 1 Iron Man, just because he's also silver, and I will be doing a repaint of that Hydra Stomper as well to make him silver. So this guy is super easy to pose, super easy to stand, and he also doubles as a weapon just in case you have a home invasion. You can whack the burglar in the face and possibly kill him on impact, because this guy is indeed a chunky boy. Alright, so next up we do have another chunky boy right here. I don't know why I have 3 of them in a row, but we have the armored Xantos right here from the NECA Gargoyle lines, and his wings are kind of a little annoying how noisy they are, so bear with me guys. But man, this guy is a beast of a figure. I think he came out to like under $40. So for $40, the amount of accessories, the alternate hands, he has like his actual human Xantos head sculpt as well, bendable tail right there, and some cool articulated wings. This guy is a must, even if you're not a fan of gargoyles, in my opinion. I am, obviously, but if you guys are long time viewers of the channel, you know I have all my gargoyles still mint in box, sealed until I get the entire set of at least the main gargoyles. So when I saw this guy officially come out and all the reviews, he was getting all the praise he was getting, I knew I had to open him up and possibly add him to my top 10 figures of 2023. I did pick up one of those Steel Clan members as well to go with this bad boy, but I will be needing another one just so I can have some symmetry in the collection. I'm saying collection, but I won't be actually posing these bad boys in their own shelf for a couple years until, like I said, all these gargoyles are finally released. And of course, I have a big enough space to accommodate these giant freaking wingspans right here. So here we have it one more time, this amazing armored Xantos coming in at number 8. Alright, so for my number 7 spot, we do have a newcomer flying in, my first ever Action Force figure by Balaverse. This is, of course, the Swarm Horde figure, the red one. I know there's a couple other variations of this figure right here, but man, this guy is pretty freaking sweet. He comes with a shit ton of accessories, every single pair of hands you could want. He does come with this cool Action Force peg set right here, which is pretty nice. I probably won't be using it because this guy has wings, so if you know me and they fly, I have to have them on flight stand. He also does come with a pretty amazing gun. I say amazing because this thing is like super solid. Like I don't think I can break it, how freaking like rigid and tough it is. I've heard a lot of people praise these Balaverse weapons because they are anti-gummy, anti-GI Joe weapons. So cool to see it in person for sure. It does come with this pretty amazing shield and a handgun to go with it, which I think pairs beautifully with this Swarm figure right here. with the whole, you know, bee wasp aspect. But yeah, man, this guy is super solid. His joints, his articulation, everything is on point with this bad boy. I see why he's on other people's top 10s as well. Like I said earlier on that G.I. Joe range viper, I'm not into military figures, but this Swarm Horde and that range viper can be like some background goons or just some pretty amazing looking figures on their own. So I won't be necessarily starting my own little military shelf in my collection, just because I'm still not really into those type of figures. But I will be cherry picking some Balivers and some Action Force and some G.I. Joe figures for sure in the future. I actually did do an unboxing video showing you guys my first initial thoughts and reactions to having my very first Action Force figure. I am planning to release that pretty soon, but I don't know if I want to combine that with my initial reaction of the Alley Viper as well. So stay tuned for that. Enough of me talking about this bad boy. He does all the talking for himself. Here we have it one more time. Number 7, the Swarm Horde from Action Force Balivers. Alright, so coming in at number 6, we do have one of my most anticipated figures of the year. I was so hyped when I actually got this bad boy in person, and this is of course the Spider-Man the Animated Series Aunt May right here, throwing up her dukes, looking pretty fly, about to beat some ass right here. Jokes aside, the actual number 7 figure is of course going to be the person she was paired up with in that 2-pack, and that is going to be Dr. Octavius, aka Doc Ock, with these amazing bendy tentacles. I'm actually glad I haven't picked up that No Way Home Doc Ock yet. I do have it on pre-order from Big Bad Toy Store, but if I had both those bad boys in my hand right now, I don't know which one would have made it to my top 10. Having these cool bending tentacles is a big plus, and also purely for nostalgia, I am a huge fan of Spider-Man the Anime Series. And actually, let me go ahead and grab Spider-Man himself, which pairs pretty amazing with this Doc Ock right here with the cell shadings. One of these days I will be planning on making my own animated series entire shelf for Batman the Animated Series, Spider-Man the Animated Series, and X-Men the Animated Series. All 3 of those cartoons were my freaking childhood, so reason this guy is officially on my top 10 list. I have seen pictures online of this bad boy being posed on his tentacles, so let's see real quick if I can do it. I did swap out one of the hands from the comic Doc Ock just because I want 3 of these bad boys to actually be supporting him. One of these is like super small, as you can see, the hand, which isn't gonna do shit, but let's see if he can actually stand up on his own weight. All right, so let's see if he actually stands up. Oh, I think my table is too slippery. All right, there we go. He is officially standing up on his own weight on these amazing tentacles. I know the No Way Home Doc Ock can do the exact same thing, so pretty cool plus right there. Like I said, I will be making a pretty cool Spider-Man the Animated Series shelf, and possibly having Spider-Man being wrapped in one of these tentacles, about to get absolutely demolished by Doc Ock. All right, next up for the number 5 spot, we officially made it to the top 5. For the top 10, we have a newcomer. This is my first ever Dungeons and Dragons NECA figure right here. I know nothing about this guy, nothing about the game or the lore, but I know this guy is a pretty freaking amazing figure. He is truly a beast. Came with a shit ton of accessories, a shit ton of hands, everything you could want in a figure for under $40. So yeah, this is Grimsword, I believe. A pretty cool snake themed character. Like I said, this guy is a beast. Definitely a chunky boy, not as chunky as these other figures that came before him, but still an amazing guy. He comes with some cool weapons. This is an actual metal chain with a spiky ball right there, with the snake theme going on right there as well. There's an actual snake wrapped around his chest, a snake on his freaking shield and on his knee pad. So definitely into snakes. But like I said, I don't know anything about this character, but he does look cool posed up on the shelf, beating some ass. Right here I actually have his sword accessory posed up with his shield. Let's see if we can just take that out. Boom, a giant freaking sword to go with this guy. I've never really been a huge fan of like the medieval style figures or like movies like Lord of the Rings and all that. So those like Mythic Legions look pretty cool as well. If they were cheaper, I probably would have get into that line as well. But for right now, this NECA D&D figure is gonna have to do. I am kind of interested in picking up that War Duke. And there's like another Knight figure that came out as well from NECA. But yeah, here we have it one more time. Coming in my number 5 spot, the amazing Grimsword. Alright, so coming in at my number 4 spot, we do have my second favorite McFarlane release of the year. My first is yet to come in this list, but we have the Page Puncher's Black Manta, looking pretty damn menacing with his badass arm blade and his badass trident weapon right here. Don't really know what it's called, but man, this guy is fucking amazing. He is like the pinnacle of articulation in my opinion from McFarlane, with the double joints everywhere, the amazing head articulation, The accessories, this guy is pretty freaking cool. I do have the rest of the Aquaman Page Punchers still in box, and I'm planning on making a video of those because all those figures in there are bangers. I think we have Aqualad, Aquaman, and Orm, and we also had Black Manta as well. So all 4 of those figures are amazing McFarlane figures for sure. So yeah, stay tuned for that video coming out shortly. But yeah, this is my first ever Black Manta in my collection. Love the character, love his costume, everything about him. I know there's a more classic looking one that came out from the Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom movie that came out, which is pretty cool. If this guy didn't come out before then, I probably would have for sure picked him up. I know Bones praises that guy a lot because it is a live action movie figure that can double as a comic one. But still gotta have his Black Manta in my collection nonetheless. His suit, his design is pretty on point. He looks like he can beat some ass. Like he can definitely give Aquaman a run for his money. So here we have it one more time. My second favorite McFarlane figure of the year, coming in number 4, Black Manta. Alright, so following Black Manta, we do have my favorite McFarlane release of the entire year. This guy is in a bunch of people's top 10s for sure, so you guys probably already know who it is. This is, of course, the Nightfall Batman. Basically the best Batman release to date, other than that Batman Hush I'm looking at right there. I don't know if that Hush came out this year, but he is a beast of a figure as well, but a little bit too big personally for me. That's what she said. But yeah, here we have Batman once again. I actually do have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Batman gifted to me by a good friend of the channel, amazing creator Josh from before. I'm actually won this from his channel membership giveaway right here. I still have a lot of these McFarlane Toys limited edition figures, mint in box. He does have a cool color scheme compared to this guy right here. He does have like some cell shading, shadow stuff going on, which actually in my opinion looks kind of better than the original release. But for right now, this guy will be staying mint in box for the foreseeable future. But yeah, man, this guy is amazing. I had a blast posing him up with the Nightfall Bane as well a couple months ago. The articulation and the sculpts on both these figures truly show how far McFarlane has come from like 3 years ago. So yeah, 2 of my favorite figures in my collection now, and definitely deserving of some top 5 accolades of 2023. Alright, so finally we made it to my top 2 action figures of 2023. Spoiler alert, they are Marvel Legends and they are Spider-Man themed. So as you know, I am a big Spider-Man fan and a big Batman fan, so it makes sense to have both those guys in my top 5. So next up we do have my second favorite figure of 2023. The nostalgia might be going to my head on this one, but this is going to be my favorite Spider-Man of all time right here in the collection. Of course, we have Tobey Maguire, only probably second to the actual animated series Spider-Man right here, which is also 2 parts of my childhood. The reason why I'm into superheroes today, both these guys right here, animated and live action respectively. I know there's been a lot of complaints and gripes about this figure when he first released, from being released exclusively on Hasbro Pulse in that 3-pack with Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield, to then being released on a single card as well. Pissed off a lot of people, and not having all the hands and whatnot. So I did pick up some of those single card figures. Like I said, one of them I made my black suit, symbiote suit, Tobey Maguire figure right there, and the other one mint on card. Love him or hate him, this guy is my second favorite action figure of 2023. And if he's my second, you can probably guess who's my first. He's for sure on a lot of people's top 10s, top 5s. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get my top action figure of 2023. So this guy right here was definitely a no-brainer for me and for most people who collect action figures. This is of course the Green Goblin from the No Way Home Marvel Legends figure right here. Looking pretty amazing. I did do some modifications on mine, so it is a little bit of cheating going on, but I do want a more classic looking Spider-Man 1 Sam Raimi Green Goblin right here with the actual Nike Air Forces and whatnot. I did take off the hood and all his little gimmicks that he had on his arms and on his legs. I will be doing some more customizations for sure on this guy in the future. I don't know how you guys feel about me you know, taking this guy apart and making him a more classic looking version instead of that No Way Home version that I did not prefer. Unpopular opinion, but I did not like the No Way Home movie at all. This thing was supposed to be the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time, and just because they threw my favorite Spider-Man of all time and his villains, I did not make that movie a great movie in my opinion. You guys can fight me in the comments, but man, I had so much high hopes, and just I was so hyped for that movie when it first came out, and when I left the theaters I was like, man, they really dropped the ball. In my opinion, it could have been way better. They could have used you know, Willem Dafoe and Doc Ock, everybody way better than they did. Try to make the villains good and send them back home and whatnot. That was just really stupid in my opinion, but I was really happy to actually see these guys grace the screen once again. And like I said, I do want to do some more customizations on this bad boy. Paint him all green and maybe add a little bit more purple to the tip of his helmet to make him a classic looking Green Goblin for my collection. To pair with this amazing Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. But yeah, guys, there you have it. My top 23 of 2023. Next year, of course, going to be my top 24 of 2024 and so forth. Like I said in the beginning, it was kind of stressful just making the list and getting all my figures from their respective displays and collections and all that. I'm actually really, really hyped to see all 23 of the figures posed up right here on my table. So stay tuned to the very end to see all these amazing figures in one spot. Let me know down below in the comment sections what was your top 10, top 5, your favorite action figure of 2023. And as always, me, Nat May, thank y'all for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
You have just witnessed another episode of Collect to Disconnect.